Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's super lovely to have you here. Buenos dias. Hola. Hello. I got my coffee. A little bit tired this morning because I was out last night celebrating, which all links into this video that I'm going to be sharing with you today, which you've already seen the title of. I'm still here recording this, working out what the title is going to be. But it's something like, they're around me again. It's going to be something along the lines of, when you don't move, boy, oh boy, the universe will move you. Welcome, everybody, to my Becoming Natalie Dance Raw and Authentically Me. I have been dreaming, praying, manifesting that I was going to be able to record this video the way I wanted it to be. Those of you that I've been coaching over the last 5 weeks knew that I had some health things going on. See, all around me. I love it. Guided, protected, loved. Yesterday, I found out that I didn't have cancer. I did, and it was cut out. And I have to go back in about 6 to 8 weeks' time for them to just go deeper, just to make sure there isn't kind of anything left of the melanoma of the mole. But I had the all clear yesterday, and my God, I have manifested like a motherfucker, and trying to keep myself in a high vibration place, which I didn't do all the time, but probably about 95%, 98% of the time I did. God knows how. I don't think I've ever been so scared before my entire life. I am I'm so fucking happy that I'm recording this video for you all, because this is, I think, fucking epic. The universe gets you to move in ways that make you feel so fucking goddamn uncomfortable, that they get you to where the plan is to put you in so much discomfort because you're not listening, that eventually you then move. And I'm not quite sure how to share all of this story, but I want to kind of, I think I'm going to start from the beginning. So if you've ever listened to Steve Jobs, he has an incredible YouTube video where he was delivering a speech at a university in America, and he talks about joining the dots backwards. And let me tell you, of all these things that I had to go through to then realize that there was something wrong, to then get me to the doctors, to then get the horrendously scary diagnosis, which I'll go into the whole thing, for this one thing to happen. It's crazy how the universe kind of works. But when you don't listen, it makes you listen. It makes you wake the fuck up. And if you don't wake the fuck up, the experience is going to be even more painful. It's like when I kept going back to my ex time after time after time, and I was treated even worse and 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 even worse, and I still wasn't learning the lesson. Until then, the universe shut my body down, so I couldn't even have sex, because there was nothing left. I literally, my body just shut down. I had nothing left. It was like it was done. So anyway, that's when you don't learn the lessons long enough. It's like, I explained it to one of my beautiful new clients who's just started my Manifest to Love program with me, my one-to-one program. And I explained it to him this way. It's like God is the boss of, and God says to the spiritual team for that person, spiritual team, what are you doing? Why is he or she still in that spot? Why are they still there? Why haven't you pulled them out? They've got a job to do on this planet, and they're still there Get them out of that situation. Short-term pain, long-term gain. Do it. And the spiritual team go, okay, it's not going to be pleasant for them, but okay. And, you know, they have to obey God, obvs. So they then create a not very nice situation for that person that needs to be somewhere else doing something better, loving on themselves. But that person has to go through a lot of pain and heartache and heartbreak, potentially, some form of that, to move them into the direction of healing, loving themselves, doing their worst to get them kind of into the direction where they're supposed to be headed. And that's kind of how I see it. And yeah, so let's, I like to see it that way. I like to see it kind of in an easier way than the scientific kind of way, I guess. Anyway, back in May, let's start there. Back in May, oh, this is, by the way, you're going to need a pack of biscuits to dunk in your tea and a cup of tea, maybe a couple of cups of tea. So back in May, I'd been having facials with a particular lady for a very long time, and my skin was getting worse. I was spending a lot of money, and this lady just kept saying, well, you need to spend a lot of money if you want to have good skin, Natalie, which is absolutely bollocks, by the way, it's bollocks. And I was getting so upset. I was spending all this money, like a lot of money a week, and obviously on the products as well. And my skin was just getting worse, and she kept blaming it on my food and everything, other than the fact that it was what she was doing. And I felt kind of trapped in that cycle. And then I remember being in Ibiza back in May, and my skin was getting really good. Because I remember going out to Ibiza in May last year and thinking, I'm not going to do anything that she's given me. I'm going to do something really basic. And I bought these lovely hyaluronic acid face masks from Boots, which is basically a pharmacy type shop in the UK. And I took loads of them out to Ibiza with me, and I was doing one every couple of days, and my skin was getting so good, so good. And so when I was there in May, I'd arranged to see another skin specialist. When I got back, I had to wait a couple of weeks. So I'd stopped seeing that lady. Now that lady didn't just do my face, she would do like massages on my legs, and sometimes I'd get a full body massage with her. And so I have another beautician who I use for waxing. Now, I said to her, told her what the situation was, and I just said to her, look, would you be able to do my, you know, I get my eyebrows kind of darkened a little bit. I said, would you be able to do my eyebrows, and would you be able to do like the odd massage when I need it? She was like, yeah, of course I can. So back in July, I had a massage with my waxing beautician, my lovely friend Joyce, who I was actually out celebrating with last night. A lovely restaurant drinking champagne. It was amazing. And anyway, and so in July, before I went back to Ibiza, I think it was between me coming back from Florida, seeing my lovely, beautiful gay clients who got back together, and then before I went to Ibiza, I'd had a massage with her. And she'd noticed something on my back. She didn't say anything quite then, but she'd noticed a mole on my back. And she was like, And then when I was in Ibiza, I was there for a good couple of months. I noticed this mole on my back, and it's on my bra line. So just like on my, really annoyingly, on my bra line. And it's flat, but it looked like it was kind of spreading across my back a little bit. And I remember looking at it going, oh, it will be fine. And so when I get back from Ibiza, you know, I don't really do anything about it. And I get back from Ibiza in September. And then it was towards the end of October, I had another full massage with Joyce. And she said, that mole's getting bigger. You need to get it looked at. And I thought, I knew I did, but I was scared, to be honest. I was scared to get it looked at. And but when she said it, I thought, yeah, I've got to get it looked at. And there's a skin specialist at my doctor's. So I'm still so happy that I'm recording this video the way I've been manifesting it. I was so happy, so happy. Yeah, and yesterday I was in a lot of tears because I was just so happy. The relief was just incredible. So anyway, so I then phoned my doctor, and they have a skin specialist there. So I had to wait a few weeks to see the skin specialist. So I didn't get an appointment till the beginning of December. So I had to wait 4 weeks. So I go and see the skin specialist. And actually, so yeah, I go and see the skin specialist, and the skin specialist said to me, there's nothing wrong. He used his like things, what do you call it? Like a magnifying glass thing. He stuck it on my back, was looking at it, taking loads of pictures. It was like showing me all these other pictures of the mole. And he said, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. And I said, well, but it's growing clearly, because I know it is, because I'm recognizing it more, and my beautician noticed that it is. And I said, well, if there's nothing wrong, is there any way we could still get it removed? And he's like, well, they don't really like to do it unless there is something wrong. And I said, okay. And he said, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. He said, there isn't anything wrong, but I'll write to them. I'll send them your picture on the off chance. They may call you in, they may not. They may say, yes, we'll remove it. They may not. You know, it's going to be one of those 50-50 things. So I was like, okay, fine. So if you hear from the dermatology department, it's going to be fine. I was like, okay, fine. So prior to me actually seeing that, actually in between seeing the dermatologist, seeing the skin doctor and before my hospital appointment, I heard, now again, this is whether you believe it, don't judge me, I don't judge you. My spiritual team said, we need you to stop smoking now. I did like to have a cigarette. Not proud of that, but I did enjoy it. And I know, yeah, it's not healthy, but I did enjoy it. And it was a habit. I had given up for 6 months last year, actually. And then I started again round about the time I gave up seeing, that's my original facialist. So I smoked, but the spiritual team said, we need you to stop smoking. That's not really in alignment with, you know, being somebody doing the job that you do, Natalie. I was like, okay, fine. So for one day, I didn't smoke. For one day, I didn't smoke. And then I went back to smoking. It was like I kind of pretended that they couldn't see me. I did. I pretended that they couldn't see me. So then, and that's a really important part of this story. So then I get a letter to go and see the dermatology people at the hospital. And it was just after Christmas and before New Year's. So I kind of rock up and thinking, oh, you know, they may or may not remove it. I'm just thinking from a cosmetic perspective. Obviously, if it gets bigger, the scar will only be bigger. If I then have to get it removed, then I'm not thinking there's anything at all wrong. So I then get called in, and they sit me down. Well, this lovely lady, she sits me down, and you know, and she's like, oh, you know, do you smoke? And I said, oh, I do a bit. And she goes, oh, you know, that can really elevate skin problems. And I went, oh, okay. So I clocked that. And then she was looking at all of my moles. She goes, oh, they're okay. And then she looked at the one that they'd received the picture of. And I was just sat there thinking, well, wonder if they'll remove it. I'm like sat there like a tigger, just like, I'm not really bothered. And then she says, I'm just going to go and get my consultant. And the consultant comes in and she sits down and she kind of like looks at me. And she's like, well, yeah, so it's, you know, the reason why we've called you in this quickly is because you have melanoma. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, the reason we called you in this quickly is because you have melanoma. And I'm just, no. It's like, no, I don't. I've come in because my doctor, who's also a skin specialist, said to me that you may remove it on the off chance if you're in a good mood. I'm here just on the off chance you may remove it. I've been told there's nothing wrong. And she sat me down. She literally sat me down. She kind of put like her hand on my knee, or kind of like, you know, whatever, like got that close. And she said, it's bluey gray. You have melanoma. And we just now need to work out the impact of what that has kind of done to your body. And I said to her, I don't know why. I said, don't use the C word. And I don't mean the naughty word. I said, don't use the C word with me. I can't hear that right now. And I think I said to her, I said, am I going to die? And she looked so serious. Because apparently the flat moles are more kind of, it's like an iceberg. It's what goes on underneath. Like apparently the wobbly ones are, you know, less problematic or something. But I'm like, so one end of the spectrum, I was told absolutely nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong. And now I'm being told that I have cancer. It was like, I don't think I've been so scared in my entire life. And I think when you know people that have it and you can empathize, but those who feel it know it, or those who know it feel it, rather, those who know it feel it. It's just completely like something else. Very, very beyond scary, actually. Beyond scary. And I was just absolutely in a daze, just absolutely shocked. So this happened on the 28th of December. And obviously, with what I do for a living, I was like, high vibration, Natalie, keep high vibe, high vibe, high vibe, high vibe. So every so often I'd be chatting to them and I'd be da da da, and all of a sudden I'd just break down in tears, like absolutely freaking petrified. And then I look, we need to get it removed now. I mean, can you imagine? We need to get it removed now. Thank God for the NHS. I swear to God. Thank fucking Christ for the NHS. I seriously, honestly, kiss them. Literally. Oh, so I then have to go and wait to just for a little bit, maybe half an hour, to then go and get it removed. So they injected in my back, dug it deep, removed it, and sewed me up. And I came home and phoned up. I mean, and actually they were so lovely doing it as well. I was telling them what I do for a living, and I'd done loads of charity work for the hospital too. And so they were really lovely. And one of the things they said was, whatever you do, do not Google this. Do not Google it. So I didn't. I was like, I'm not doing that. Obviously, you know, again, with what I teach and what I guide you with and what I do, it's like the more you focus on something, the more you're going to attract it. I was like, fuck, am I doing that? I'm healthy. And that was, yeah. So they were really amazing. I was just absolute like shock. It's like, I can't even describe it. I never want to go do that again, ever. And guess what? I remembered what the lady had said to me before she pulled in the consultant. And she said, smoking doesn't help your skin. No, smoking doesn't help anything. And I immediately stopped. And I haven't had a cigarette since. And that was the 28th of December. And neither will I ever put a cigarette near me or in my mouth again. So I get home and I call Joyce. And obviously, because I told Joyce, oh, there's nothing wrong. Thank you, but there's nothing wrong. And then I'm now telling her that actually, yeah, I've got melanoma. And I just still couldn't quite work. And I was crying, obviously, to her. I still couldn't quite work out how somebody could be so adamant. And then that. So as soon as I got in, actually, I got my Louise Hay book out, which if you don't have a Louise Hay book, it's called the Heal Your Body book. I went straight to it, like skin and cancer and all this stuff. And I was writing down what I'm still holding on and what I need to flip, what story I need to be telling. And it was all about, apologize if you can hear that noise there, blowing some leaves or something outside. But the, it was about me lovingly forgiving and letting go of my past and releasing it with love and choosing to embrace a world and a life full of joy and happiness. Now, I thought that I'd actually done that. But clearly I maybe still have some other things to hold on to as well. So, but it was a really good learn, actually. Bear with me. You know what? I think they're right. Oops. Yeah. He's right below. So I'm just going to pause this video for a second. They were just cutting some of the ground. So I'm just going to put myself back comfy again. They've decided to move around the back, thankfully, just for a moment while I'm recording this video for you all. So yeah, so I've got the Louise Hay book, and so I'm literally doing everything now that I know that I need to do. So I have the Louise Hay book, I'm flipping the stories, anything, I'm doing anything, literally kind of doing anything that I possibly can to bring on a negative diagnosis, if that makes sense. And so then I call Joyce and I'm crying to her on the phone, and she's like, oh my God, and we're just having a good conversation about it. And, you know, there's nothing, nobody can do it. And I was told it would take 3 to 4 weeks up to like 3 weeks to find out what, you know, I think they have to leave the mold for a certain amount of time to see what it does, like how it grows or what it's doing. And yeah, so I said to Joyce, I said, so, okay, I need to know that we're going to be celebrating a positive outcome. So can we book to do something together? And we chose the 1st of February, 2024 to do that, which was yesterday. Just so happened, serendipitous, synchronicities, all of that stuff, just so happened that yesterday was the day that I found out that I had the all clear. So we booked to go for this beautiful meal. Now, it did take longer, obviously, to get the results. So it's probably just over 5 weeks to get the results. But what had happened the next, so I'm literally in a state of shock, obviously, and what had happened the next day was just incredible. So I'd also been guided before Christmas to let go of the last piece of the puzzle. I was told to let go of another person from my life, and I was told by my spiritual team, you've got to let that person go, and you've got to let her go. She's the last piece of the puzzle. Now, this person wasn't making me feel very good either, but she'd been in my life a very, very long time. Now, so I listened to my spirit guides. They're like, look, you need to let go of that person. That's the last piece of the puzzle, because the abundance, your birthright abundance, is over there, and you can't hold on to her, that last piece, that toxic piece. God knows what she was doing in the background or thinking about me in the background, but something was clearly going on that the universe, my spiritual team, did not like, which is why I had to let her go. And they're like, look, everything that you've wanted, everything you've been working for, everything you've been healing for is here waiting for you, but you have to let go of that. And so I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. I'm letting go, because it wasn't making me feel good having her in my life anyway. And then there was lots of things I'd uncovered about her. And yeah, it just didn't make me feel very good. So I did the right thing. So I'm like, okay, so that happened, and now I've got this. And so I said to the spiritual team, so I just went in and I had a chat. Well, I didn't really have a chat. I went, what the actual fuck? I was like, you told me that was the last piece of the puzzle. That was the last piece of the toxic stuff that I had to release from my life. And now this. And this is what I heard. How else did you think we were going to get you to stop smoking? I wasn't moving. I wasn't listening, and I wasn't moving. I wasn't listening and I wasn't moving. So the universe put me in the most uncomfortable position. They were like, right, Natalie, you want to get that mole removed? We'll get that mole removed for you, but we're going to get something out of it from you too. And we're going to get you to stop smoking by scaring the living daylights out of you, basically. And that's what happened. So they got me to stop smoking by scaring the living daylights out of me, because there wasn't, I'm going to be honest, I'll hold my hands up. I'd still be smoking now. I would, because I loved it. I would still be smoking now. So the spiritual team had to put me through that, shock the living daylights out of me for me to stop smoking. There was no other thing. I just wouldn't have stopped. Yeah. And that is what happens when you don't listen. When you don't listen, they have to then take it into their own hands and elevate a situation for you to then finally move. My God, did I? In fact, when I was going up to London a couple of weeks ago to meet my business coach, and I was with my driver in the car, and I said, I was like looking at these people that were smoking. It was making me feel sick, actually. Never thought that would happen, but it did. And actually last night, a couple of people went out to have a cigarette between their courses, not on my table, but I just saw from another table. And I just thought, oh, thank God that isn't me anymore. But look what I had to go through. So I then spent the last 5 weeks every day talking in that I'm safe, talking in that I'm healed, talking in that I've got an incredibly healthy body, that I'm full of vitality and full of health. I literally just went all in, and even to the extent where when the nurse called me yesterday, I had right next to me, I'd been affirming, you know, I know that I'm 100% healthy. I know that there's nothing wrong with me. I know that I'm going to be going out tonight with Joyce celebrating. I know this is going to happen. And I had to keep speaking it in. And even though when I would get a little bit scared occasionally, and I would feel a bit worried, well, sometimes a little bit more than, as it got closer to getting the results, I was getting more scared. And so to try and stay in my high vibration, but my spiritual team kept saying, there's nothing wrong with you. They kept repeating the same thing. You are never going to no, what is it they said? They said, you know, this is going to be your biggest kick up the arse of trusting that you need. Like, if there was any other thing that you needed to know, that like to trust when it comes to us, that we know what we're doing, that we're in kind of control, it's this. And I tell you, I will never not trust them again, ever. I mean, there's so many things that have happened over the last few weeks. Like, I met my idol, a famous DJ in the UK. I met him. I couldn't believe it. You know, I got a room upgrade. Over the last couple of weeks, you know, I've had loads of new clients, beautiful clients signing up to my Manifest to Love program, and signing up to my new Manifest from Your Pocket program. Like, beautiful, kind, like inspirational, high achieving people, like absolutely gorgeous clients, you know, the right clients that I've been, you know, wanting to attract. It's just absolutely incredible. You know, the money is flowing. You know, my business is changing and forming and molding in alignment now with who I've become, this more confident person, high achieving person. I woke up this morning to winning over £300, well, about £275 on my bonds. You know, I've just received another bulk load of money into my bank account today. You know, I noticed before I started recording this video, you know, I let go of that, and I kept just focusing. I keep speaking in what it is that I want. I kept speaking in my health, and I kept myself busy, and I kept doing work, and I kept showing up every day. Even when I was scared, I kept showing up every day. And the days where I was scared, the days where I was a little bit more petrified, you know, literally, they would just be there. It's okay, baby girl, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Trust us. We had to do this to stop you from smoking. And it worked. You see that there's like confirmation. Yeah, we did. And it worked, you know, it absolutely worked. And I did with my business coach, I did a sound bath with her in London with this lovely, lovely man in London. And we were talking about what we wanted to get out of it. And I didn't realize how actually scared I was. And so I did a sound bath with him, and oh, it was just incredible. Like I was free falling, like I was being told to just let it go, let it go, let it go. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And so I was repeating throughout this sound bath, you know, I am well and I am trusting, I am well and I am trusting. And I realized actually I did have a bit of a trust issue based on the hurts that I'd experienced. I mean, everybody from my past, it is no longer in my past, has hurt me in a really bad way, a really bad way, you know. So, but what I was able to do through that sound bath is, you know, I trusting that I'm getting the right clients, trust in the universe even more, even deeper. And obviously trusting this outcome, I had to trust that they would, of course. And I would literally speak that in when my spiritual team is saying this to me. So I'm trusting them. Obviously, I'd have the odd bit of wobble, and it's proof as well. You can have a little bit of a wobble. And actually, my wobbles weren't that massive because I trust that what I needed to do would work, and I never gave up. I kept speaking in my health. I kept speaking in lovingly forgiving and releasing my past and past people that have done me wrong. You know, I kept speaking all of that in and just focusing on my health and focusing on, you know, being somebody that's full of health and vitality. You know, so I'm somebody that defies science. That's what I say. I speak it in along with all the other affirmations and gratitudes and intentions and everything that I do every day. You know, and now I'm speaking in my birthright abundance, which is mind-blowing levels of abundance. So I'm speaking it all in. So if there was any more evidence that if you are in such discomfort, you know, the universe, or you've been pulled out of something toxic, the universe is doing it for a reason. It wants you to have a better life. It wants you to be healthier. It wants you to receive the love that you've deserved. It wants you to love yourself enough to know that you can receive the love that you deserve, you know, whatever it is. But the universe will move you. If you're not moving, if you're stagnant, if you're in a, you know, relationship where you're not growing, it will do something, and you'll feel like you've been hard done by. But it isn't. It is actually them going, come on, move, mush, do what we need you to do. Which sounds so super simple when you're not going through it. But when you're going through it, my God, I never want to experience the last 5 weeks like that ever again in my life. You know, yeah, I was telling like the taxi drivers last night that were taking me to and from the restaurant, and like they gave me like free taxis. They were so like happy that I was celebrating. Yeah, so I still have to go and have a procedure done in about 6 to 8 weeks time, where they're going to just dig a bit deeper. Instead of 2 millimeters, apparently they're going to go to 5 millimeters, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's not pleasant. But you know, I'd rather that than the alternative. So that is my story. There's a lot of different stories in there, but that is trust in the universe. When it's telling you to do something, do it. It's trusting in yourself. When you need to let go of something, let go of it. And remember, you know, if you're somebody that's here and you're holding on to toxic people or people that don't treat you in the way that you deserve, but maybe it's the way that you've only ever known, the more you fall in love with yourself and the more you heal, the more you'll recognize that. And the more you let that go, the more you'll come over to here to this person that will then be able to start to receive their birthright abundance. You know, you'll be able to elevate to the highest timeline for you to experience a life that you were here to experience, a life that you've always wanted to experience, that loving relationship, the family, the children, the marriage, the house, the business, the body, whatever that is. You know, the extra millions in the bank, whatever it is that you're wanting, you'll be able to reach that because you would have let go of that. Because you can't be somebody that's low vibration holding on to, you know, even if it's like the last little remnants of like the toxic stuff, you can't have that in your life and be this abundant person. It just doesn't work. You can't be up here and be down here at the same time. Yeah. I really hope that that's all made sense. So, I literally wrote down yesterday before they called me as well. I know that I'm going to be doing a YouTube video about this journey. And I know this journey is going to inspire somebody. Maybe it will inspire people to go and get their moles checked. Maybe it will too. Maybe it will inspire you to start trusting. Maybe it will inspire you to move. So there we go. That's it for me. This long-awaited video. I have been very excited about the thought of doing this video, and I'm so proud I get to share this story and to be able to tell you that I am cancer-free. Yeah. I feel like I've got a new lease of life. It feels really weird. It's like I'm not going to overcook myself again. You know, I used to get laughed at actually for wearing fake tan on holiday and wearing fat to 50, but I don't want to cook myself in the sun. Yeah, I feel like life is even more precious, if that makes sense. I'm sure it does make sense to a lot of you, but I feel like life is that much more precious. Like I'm not going to, you know, kill myself doing like the 12, 15-hour days like I used to do on my business. I'm not doing that anymore. My well-being is more important than anything and anyone, actually. My well-being is the most important thing to me now. And yeah, and everything else is secondary as far as I'm concerned. So there we go. That is my journey to what happens when you don't move. The universe will move you in the most crazy ways. So yeah. Okay, that's it. Please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and share if you think this is going to help somebody. This isn't supposed to scare people. It's supposed to help you to understand a bit more of how the universe works as well, and how strong, I guess, you can be defying, I don't know, actually, there's this other thing I was meaning to share. During this process, I would get slight images of me being in a hospital bed with no hair. Like I was going through a chemo or something. And I just had to keep letting that go. So that's how strong the ego was. It wouldn't come in that often, but as it got closer and closer for me to perceive the diagnosis, the outcome, I would start to see myself that way. But I just overrode that with seeing myself on the beach in Ibiza with my beautiful long hair, and seeing myself having fun, and seeing myself in a new home, and seeing myself driving my new car. So I just overrode that with positive future images of the future that I wanted, as opposed to that. And that's how I did it. And that's how I do it. If there's something that comes into my mind that I don't like, and obviously I didn't like that, that was a horrible, horrible thing to see. I would just override it, and I would speak in the life that I do want to experience, and the one that I know that I am going to be experiencing. And I would visualize myself just, you know, like I said, being in my new home, driving my new car, being on a beautiful beach in Ibiza, having fun with people. Excuse me. So I would do that to override those old thoughts. And then I would just get on with my day, because I had no choice. You have to get on with your day. And keep yourself busy as much as you can. So there we go. Anyway, yes, like I said, that is it from me today, guys. Please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I really hope this has helped somebody and inspires you all that, you know, trusting is really important. Moving when you know something doesn't feel right, move. And if you do have a mole that doesn't look very pleasant, then I would just suggest just to get it checked out, just to be on the safe side. I'm so glad that I did, because if I'd stayed with that the facialist, the original one, I probably wouldn't have done anything about it, because it was very rare that I had full body massages with her. So there you go. Everything works out for you. You can only join the dots backwards, as Steve Jobs said. Take care, guys, and I, as always, will be back very, very soon.